What is going on, everybody out there in the YouTube trucking community? Sean Cahalan, Christian Brother Trucker, coming at you again with another video tonight. I'm currently being loaded up, and it's like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I think after I get loaded up, I'm gonna take advantage of some available parking here at the shipper and give me a little bit of sleep before I head out, because I don't like to drive fatigued. So I got an awesome comment asking me to make a video in response to another video that was posted by a truck driver who was pressured by his company to drive fatigued. And it was called The Ugly Truth About Trucking. And I think the guy's call sign on YouTube is Run Hard and Get Paid, or something like that. So I watched the video, and I've actually seen the video before. It's basically about a driver who took 10 off and then was asked to drive 20 miles and drop a trailer, and then take another 10 off and then get under a hot load. So we got a couple of hours into his hot load that he was on, and he drove for a couple hours and became very tired and started falling asleep. And he called his dispatch and told his dispatch that he needed to get off the road and get some sleep because he was falling asleep. Now, it is an ugly truth about trucking that we are pressured into doing things that are not safe. We are pressured to disregard very important safety measures that are put in place by DOT regulations. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a couple of articles here from my company that I came over to go to work for that stands by the DOT regulations. So the first part that I'm going to read is in this DOT manual. I know all you guys probably have one of these. Pick it up and read it. Because if you don't know what's in there, you don't know what your responsibilities are, what your rights are as a driver, and when a company is asking you to do something that is illegal. There are two things in this industry that we have that we are protected under. And those two things are safety and law. So a company cannot ask you to do something that is illegal or is unsafe. Well, that's safety, that discernment of what is safe is up to you to exercise. You are the captain of the ship. You are the driver of that truck. You are the one that is managing your fatigue, and you know whether you are fit to drive or not fit to drive. If you are not fit to drive a truck because you are too tired, you're fatigued, you don't feel good, you're sick, you're ill, or you're being asked to violate DOT hours of regulation by illegally using personal conveyance, you are being asked to willfully violate any of the DOT hours of service regulations, that is illegal. But you are also covered by the rules of fatigue. And I'm going to read this part. It is in 392.4, and it says in 392.1, every motor carrier, its officers, agents, representatives, and employees responsible for the management, maintenance, operation, or driving of commercial motor vehicles, or the hiring, supervising, training, assigning, or dispatching of drivers shall be instructed in and comply with the rules of this part. Every commercial motor vehicle must be operated in accordance with the laws, ordinances, and regulations of the jurisdiction in which it is being operated. However, if a regulation of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration imposes a higher standard of care than the law, ordinance, or regulation, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration regulation must be complied with. 392.3 Ill or fatigued operator. No driver shall operate a motor vehicle and the motor vehicle shall not, or the motor carrier shall not require or permit a driver to operate a commercial motor vehicle while the driver's ability or alertness is so impaired or so likely to become impaired through fatigue, illness, or any other cause as to make it unsafe for him or her to begin or continue to operate the commercial motor vehicle. However, in a case of grave emergency where the hazard to occupants of the commercial motor vehicle or other users of the highway would be increased by compliance with this section, the driver may continue to operate the commercial motor vehicle to the nearest place at which that hazard is removed. So what that means is you can't just pull over on the shoulder of the highway and go to sleep and take a 10 off, because you're posing an immediate risk to the motoring public because you're a sitting duck. But what this means is that you, if you're fatigued, you have the legal right to tell your motor carrier where to stick it, because you're tired and you need to go to sleep. So you pull that truck over and go to sleep and know that you are protected by the DOT rules and regulations. So let's go a little bit deeper here and let's take a look at Doug Andrews Distributing personal, it's in their policy manual, and see what it says about the DOT hours and regulations. So they don't want you to violate the hours of service, and if you, per federal law, a driver who exceeds more than 3 hours, a driver who exceeds by more than 3 hours the hours of service rules outlined in 49395.3 or 395 is deemed to have committed an egregious violation and may subject themselves to and the company to serious financial penalties permitted by federal law. Any Doug Andrews Distributing driver who commits an egregious violation of the hours of service will be subject to discipline and may be subject to termination regardless of whether any governmental agency takes action on the matter. Fatigue management. If you experience 2 or more of the following symptoms of fatigue, you may need to stop and rest. If you've obtained fewer than 8 hours of sleep in the previous 24 hours, any feelings of drowsiness, increased yawning, frequent blinking, head nodding, difficulty concentrating, wandering thoughts, reduced awareness of surroundings, slower decision making, sporadic variations in vehicle speed, too fast or too slow, lost awareness of location on the map, don't remember recent mile markers at the side or roadside, unknowingly pass up a planned highway exit, failure to follow instructions on road signs, following too close, intermittent braking, gear shifting becoming more frequent, erratic, and grinding gears, increasing desire to go to sleep, shaking your head to stay awake, and failing to maintain your lane. There's a few more that I could add in here, but I think you guys get the point that, fatigue is not something that goes away with coffee, with energy drinks, or anything else like that. If you're forcing yourself to stay awake, and this is even more prevalent with team operations and team driving, because a driver has to get 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep in order to feel rested, in order for that person to not succumb to the side effects of fatigue. All right, so here's something that's published. It's called the whistleblower policy, and this is published by OSHA. Under federal law, Doug Andrews Distributing cannot fire, demote, discipline, blacklist, or intimidate employees, deny them benefits, overtime, or promotion, reduce their pay or hours, write them up, or treat them differently if they file a complaint or participate in a proceeding or an investigation relating to the violations of commercial motor vehicle safety, health, or security rules. The law protects employees who file a complaint, initiate a proceeding, testify, or plan to testify in a proceeding relating to a violation of the commercial motor vehicle safety regulations. The law also protects employees who refuse to operate a commercial motor vehicle because, one, it would have resulted in a violation of the federal safety or health regulation, or two, the employee had a reasonable apprehension that he or she or someone else would have been seriously injured or impaired by operating the unsafe vehicle after the employer had been asked to correct the unsafe condition and refused to correct it. So this includes if you tell your employer that you are tired and need to stop and go to sleep. If they tell you to keep going, to do this or to do that, or they don't care, you're protected by the law. Also, if you have a vehicle that is having mechanical problems, i.e., I've got a check engine light and it's derating and it's at the yard, and I've got somebody telling me that I need to drive this to Phoenix, Arizona, that's a direct violation of the law. After an alleged incident of discrimination occurs, employees have 180 days to file a whistleblower complaint. Complaint should be filed with the Federal Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA. If the evidence supports the claim of retaliation and a settlement cannot be reached, OSHA will issue an order awarding the employee appropriate relief such as reinstatement of the job with the same seniority and benefits, back pay with interest, compensatory damages including compensation of special damages, expert witness fees, and reasonable attorney fees, and punitive damages up to $250,000 in certain cases. After OSHA issues its order, either party may request an evidentiary hearing before a law judge. The findings and order become the final order of the Secretary of Labor unless an objection is filed within 30 days. Whistleblower protection extends to employees who drive a commercial motor vehicle, even as an independent contractor who personally operates the vehicle, as well as employees who repair and maintain vehicles as a mechanic, handle freight, and perform any job for a motor carrier directly affecting commercial motor vehicle safety in the course of employment. So that's pretty broad, right? I mean, that covers everybody. And you are covered under the DOT regulations when it comes to two major things that I've been talking about here. One is driver fatigue. Trainees that are driving a team truck in a team truck operation that are being forced to drive and sleep in a moving truck, therefore becoming fatigued. And second is driving and operating a vehicle with known vehicle defects that have been reported, and the dispatch, management, or anybody else tells the driver to keep driving the vehicle any distance or any length that is not towards a shop, or does not call out a road service breakdown vehicle to come out and to fix said problem on the road. This can include things like I've got exposed wires coming out of my tires. I've got a tire that's got a cut in the sidewall. I got turn signal that's not working. I've got this and that that's not working. Now, if the vehicle can be driven safely to the nearest truck stop to go get it fixed, that's one thing, right? So this is all going to depend on a lot of discernment here. There have been times when I've driven a vehicle to go and get it fixed. I've limped the truck along to a shop to get it fixed. And I've also been asked to, completely disregard safety. I've been asked to operate a vehicle that had a unbeaded tire for up to like 50 miles to go and take it to a tire shop to get it fixed so that we didn't have to get a road breakdown service call to come out. So, who has the ultimate say? You do, as the captain of the ship, as the driver of the truck. It is up to you to make that call. It is up to you to exercise your authority as the operator of that motor vehicle. And you are covered by DOT law. You are covered by OSHA. You are covered by your own company's policies that tell you not to drive a truck unsafely. So, that's part of what I'm doing. I'm talking about all of these unsafe practices that these companies are doing and putting into place, and they just don't care because they're trying to save money. Lives are not worth money. Or you know what I mean? There's no value that you can put on a life. Just because a company says, oh, we don't want to pay for a road service call to come out and fix your tire. Well, if that tire comes off while you're driving down the road, you're limping it, and that tire comes off, and somebody runs over your retread that flies off the truck because you're driving it down the road, and they get into an accident, run off the road, and die, that's on you. If you continue to drive a truck and you start falling asleep, and you're doing so because a company is getting you to drive team, and you're not getting the proper sleep, you're going to get into a wreck and you're going to kill somebody. And a good trainer, even the trainers that are in these situations where they're attempting to drive team, I've been in this situation where I have misread my trainees and thought that they were sleeping when they weren't. And I didn't know exactly how tired somebody else was because I can't feel how tired somebody else is. I don't know until I start seeing the manifestation of that by making driving mistakes. And I had one trainee that told me that he was sleeping, and he wasn't. And at the end of his drive shift, we went to pull into a truck stop to switch out drivers, and he almost took off the hood of a car at an intersection. I had to stop him because I was looking out the driver's side door, and I could see in the mirror that his trailer was about to run over the hood of a car. But he told me that he was sleeping. And then finally he confessed to me that he hadn't been sleeping that well. Well, we were attempting to go team, and we were on team loads, and I had to call dispatch and say, you need to take us off of team freight because my co-driver, my trainee, is not sleeping. So the fact that you're being put into these positions to where these problems are coming up, should those problems even be present? And in my opinion, I don't think that they should. So, let's think about this. Let's be conscientious drivers out here. Let's put safety first. Let's do the right thing, because the right thing is the better thing to do. And you ain't going to make any money when you're in a ditch. And when you kill somebody because you're pushing it too hard, or an accident occurs that is preventable, and somebody dies, you're going to jail. I've personally heard stories from different motor carriers of drivers that killed somebody, had their own family members die that were on the truck with them, and then that person then went to federal prison after that because he survived, went to court and got sued and lost and ended up having to go to prison after being responsible for the deaths of several people. This isn't a joke out here. Everything that happens on these trucks is your fault. So if you ever get into an accident, it's going to be put on you because you're the one that has the commercial motor vehicles driver's license, the CDL, the commercial driver's license. You are the professional. You are the one that is supposed to be making the correct decision to be safe. And I don't care I don't care how people try to justify it. Like I said, I used to drive that way. I used to be that way. I used to have that attitude. I used to be that super trucker. And I'm really grateful that I didn't kill anybody when I was that way. So, know your rights. Know the law. And know when to say no. And know when something isn't right that's being done by these mega fleets. Because they will do almost anything to get you to do something that's going to save them money. Because they're trying to cut costs. And unfortunately, if they keep trying to cut costs, it's going to cost somebody something major. A lot more than money. So let's think about that. And let's be safe out there. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe and share. And as always, thanks for watching, and God bless you all.